Hi, it's Evan again, coming to you from EOS Education from Boxlight. And today we're going to be talking about the new firmware update for the Boxlight ProColor 3 in August 2022. So if you're not sure if that firmware update has been installed for you, I do have another video on how to check that out and install it yourself. Feel free to look at that. But once you've been able to install it, you should notice some new applications here. Today we are going to be talking about the Opera browser. Now in this latest firmware update, we've replaced Chrome with Opera as the default browser. I'm going to take you through some of the amazing new features that are in Opera. I think you're going to be really excited about using it. But if you do want to fall back to Chrome, that is still available for you. You just have to download it from the Clever Store. And I will have another video on how to install apps from the Clever Store, so feel free to check that out as well. But let's talk about Opera for a bit here. It is available right from your home screen as well as in the apps waffle right down here, and you can of course launch it just by tapping on it. Now, one of my favorite new features that's available in Opera is an ad blocker. And this is great because as educators, the last thing we want is for some random ad to pop up while we're trying to show educational content to our students. It's potentially distracting, maybe even inappropriate. So the ad blocker really makes that a lot easier, gives you some peace of mind. So here I am on schooltube.com. This is an educational video site. There's a lot of great content here, but unfortunately there is a pop-up ad right here for real estate in this instance. So in order to get rid of these pop-up ads, all you have to do is go up to this little person, the circle right here in the top left of your panel, tap on that to open up a menu here, and make sure your ad blocker is turned on. So now I am protected from random ads. If I get rid of that window and just refresh my page, you will see that that ad does not show back up. So that is a super useful tool. It doesn't necessarily block 100% of advertising content on all sites, but it really does dramatically cut down on those pop-up ads, YouTube ads, things like that that really distract your students. Another really great thing about Opera is that it plays better with Google sites and more complex websites. So if I switch over here to Google Drive in my next tab, you'll notice that this Google Drive looks a little bit different than the site you may be used to on your computer. And if you've used panels before, you probably have guessed already that it is loading the mobile version of this website. This is very common because this panel does run Android, and some websites incorrectly perceive that as being a phone running Android. So it's very easy to fix. All we need to do to get the regular Google Drive interface back is to go to these three dots in your top right, open that menu, and turn on Desktop Site. And now it's going to reload the page automatically for you, and you can see that now this is the familiar Google Drive interface that you are used to. Now, if I go ahead and open up this Google Slides document, you'll see it pops open a new tab, and it will load that in the full version of Google Slides. This is the desktop version. It's going to load all my tools. It's going to load my page thumbnails exactly how I'm used to. In our previous version of Chrome, it would actually go back to the mobile version, and you would have to re-enable the desktop site up here from that menu. So you don't have to enable that option as frequently with Opera. It's a huge time saver for the classroom, especially if you're using more complex websites like, in this instance, Google Slides. Now, there is one more feature that I want to talk to you about today. It's not necessarily something exclusive to Opera, but it is our new Annotation Tool. And this is available in the toolbar from either side of your panel, wherever you are in the panel operating system. So whether you're connecting your computer, you're using the Note application, or you're in a browser, that Annotation Tool is always there for you. It just really shines with something like Google Slides in this instance. And I can open that by tapping on this yellow circle here. And now you'll see a little window come up on my display showing some pen and brush tools. Now this is freshly upgraded with this August 2022 firmware, and I really like it because it allows me, if I open this, you can see it allows me to choose any color for my annotation tool. So if I'm working on a background that has a color that wouldn't allow me to see, for example, a red pen very easily, I can switch to any other color of my choice. It's a huge benefit. The other thing I really like is that you can change the width of your annotations. So even though students in the far back of the classroom are still able to see if you make a nice bold line here on the screen. So for example, you can see that that is really a very thick and easily visible line. Now, the same tools are available for the brush. This is more of a highlighter. This is going to put down a transparent color, really great for highlighting text, but it's very similarly to the pen tool. Now we can make that line very large. So you can more easily highlight large fonts. So in this case, this is fairly large text on the screen. I can still color it with a highlighter very quickly and easily. So that's a huge improvement. Now, the other thing that I really like about the annotation tool is that it really streamlines the process of sharing my annotations. So when I'm done marking up my screen here and walking through the lesson, it would be great to share my notes with my students. So here I can go to the More menu, and I have a couple options that are useful here. The first one is Share. So if I tap on Share, it's actually going to generate a QR code. And now scanning this QR code will send a picture of my notes to whoever scans that. So I can pull up this really big QR code. Students in the classroom can use their smartphones or iPads, etc., to scan this QR code and have a copy of those annotations on their own device. Now, the other great option here is Cloud. No longer do I have to save my annotations to the panel's internal storage. I can send those annotations directly up to Google Drive or OneDrive. So that is our newest panel update, and once again, if you do want to use Chrome in the future, you can still do that. Check out my other video about loading applications from the Clever Store. Thanks.